Good morning, dear students. So in this video today we are going to continue with the story Ranga's Marriage, and you know that we had stopped where the narrator had made a plan to get Ranga married and change his perspective of marriage. Now in this story we can see that it is a satire, as I told you earlier, that it is a satire or it is satirical in tone, because the author mocks at various things. In the very beginning, the author has mocked at the British rulers or the cartographers, and he says that perhaps they have not given importance to this small village in Mysore. And then he mocks at the people who use English words in the Kannada language, that is their local language. He has also mocked at the village people and their traditional ways or methods of getting a girl married, that is marrying their girl at a very young age, that is child marriage indirectly. Then he has also mocked at the casteism, just as, for example, he has told that the old lady wanted to see whether he was wearing his janevar or not. So he was mocking at the traditions and customs of the village people as well. But on the other hand, he has glorified his village though. Now he has mocked Ranga also, and because he felt that Ranga had changed his views about marriage, though he had not changed completely, even though he stayed in Bangalore for 6 months. But he felt that he had a modernized look or view about marriage. So he mocked at that English system, or you can say that the custom of love marriage. He didn't appreciate that. He also mocked at the Shastri and the Shastras. He said that the Shastras were very accurate, but in fact you will come to know what it was. And then he mocked when Ranga had named his child after his name, and he mocked at it because he said that perhaps it is an English custom, and he felt that Ranga was following the English custom of naming their children or their child with the same name whom they loved. He also mocked himself. You can see that in the story when you read the other half of the story that we haven't read. I believe most of you must have read this story completely, but you need to analyze there that how he has a sense of humor, and he mocks himself also, and he says that he was like a he-goat of the story of lion and he-goat, and he calls himself an oil cake. So this kind of things are satirical in tone. Now later in the video you will see that I have given you the list of the things that he mocked at, and you will elaborate the answer. Then we can say that the story is also humorous. At various points he inserts in humor in the story. Now there is a saying that it is said that this story it has been written in a rambling way. Okay, the author has perhaps incorporated many things together in a descriptive manner, and therefore when we read the story we'll find out that also. You are also going to find out the instances of humor in the story, and please note down the humor examples of humor in the story. So now we are going to continue with the story. Please follow the video. So dear students, we are going to continue the story, and now from paragraph 16 to 25 We'll just have the synopsis first. The narrator has told about Ratna, Ramarao's niece. She was an orphan brought up by her uncle. She had a sweet voice and could play veena and harmonium. Ratna went to Ramarao's house to fetch buttermilk as per the narrator's plan. When Ratna came, the narrator asked to sing a song. In the meanwhile, he called for Ranga. Ratna saw Ranga, a stranger, so she stopped singing. Ranga was disappointed. Ratna ran inside the house. The narrator wanted to see Ranga's excitement, so he told him that she was married. The narrator went to Shastri, an astrologer in their village, and tutored him. He took Ranga to Shastri to know about his future. The narrator had guessed that Ranga was interested in Ratna. Paragraphs 26 to 40. When Ranga met Shastri, he told him about his future. As he was tutored by the narrator, he told them to guess the girl's name. Finally, Ranga got married to Ratna. Ranga named his child Shyama to show his gratitude and respect for the narrator. He invited him to his house for his son's birthday. So now students, we are going to read this half part of the story, and as I told you that you all should read the story. Maybe you are having the books or the e-books with you. You can read it again, or you can read with the video itself. Her parents had died and her uncle had brought her home. Ranga was just the boy for her and she the most suitable bride for him. Now, as the author was very good at judging people, he thought that Ranga would be a good husband for this orphan girl. So he thought that even Ratna would be a good bride and they would be a good match. Since I was a frequent visitor to Ramarao's place, the girl was quite free with me. I completely forgot to mention her name, Ratna. So this is just a way the writer writes, because he is a comic and fun-loving person, and therefore in his writing also you can see how he mentions the name of the girl and says, oh, I completely forgot to mention her name. Her name was Ratna. The very next morning I went to their house and told Ramarao's wife, I will send some buttermilk for you. Ask Ratna to fetch it. Ratna came. It was a Friday, so she was wearing a grand sari. I told her to sit in my room and requested her to sing a song. Friday and wearing a grand sari, that is because they perform some puja in South India in their village on Friday. I told her to sit in my room and requested her to sing a song. I sent for Ranga. Sent for Ranga means he called for Ranga. He sent somebody to call Ranga in the meanwhile while the girl was singing. She did not know what was the narrator's plan. While she was singing the song, Krishnamurti in front of my eyes. These are the lines of the song. She was singing Krishnamurti. She was singing a song of Lord Krishna in front of my eyes. Ranga reached the door. And at this time, Ranga also reached his house. He stopped at the threshold. Threshold, just the entrance. He did not want the singing to stop, but was curious to see the singer. Carefully he peeped in. The light coming into the room was blocked. Now, why Ranga became curious to see the singer? Because the voice was very sweet and the girl was singing in a very sweet voice. So he was curious to see the singer also. He peeped in. The light coming into the room was blocked. So when he peeped, the light that was entering the room through the door, it got blocked, and Ratna understood that there was somebody standing. Ratna looked up and seeing a stranger there, abruptly stopped. Suppose you buy the best quality mango, you eat it slowly, severing its peel before biting it into the juicy flesh. You do not want to waste any part of it. Before you take another bite, the fruit slips out of your hand and falls to the ground. How do you feel? Ranga's face showed the same disappointment when the singing stopped. So in this paragraph, you can see, children, that the author has a sense of humor, how he is describing, or how he is using the simile there. You can say that the disappointment on Ranga's face when Ratna stopped singing, how was it? He is comparing it to a very sweet or good quality mango that a person was eating, and perhaps when it slips from his hand, how disappointed that person may be. So this is the kind of sense of humor that the author had. So he says, if you were enjoying, savoring its peel before biting into the juicy flesh, when you want to enjoy every bit of a mango. So what do the people do? They first enjoy. Savoring means enjoying the peel. First they will lick the peel, and they like the peel, and then only they go for the juicy flesh of the fruit. And you do not want to waste any part of it. That means you want to enjoy every part of that mango, and that is why one feels very disappointed when the fruit slips out of your hand and falls to the ground. You sent for me, he asked as he came in and sat on a chair. So Ranga could not do anything else. Therefore, he asked the narrator that you had called me. Why did you call me? Ratna stood at a distance, her head lowered. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. Once our eyes met, and he looked very embarrassed. No one spoke for a long while. It was my coming in that stopped the singing. Let me leave. So Ranga was feeling very embarrassed, and even Ratna was feeling shy. Therefore, Ranga said to the narrator that it was due to my entering into the house that she stopped singing, so I would go. Now in these paragraphs you can see that the narrator had planned or made a scheme to make Ratna and Ranga meet, because the author did not believe in the English way of love, marriage, etc., and therefore he wanted Ranga to get married to Ratna in the traditional way of their village. So he wanted to make a meeting of theirs so that Ranga changes his views about marriage. As I told you in the earlier video, that Ranga had a different view about or opinion about marriage. Words, mere words. See, this is another paragraph which tells you about the sense of humor. Words, mere words. The fellow said he would leave, but he did not make a move. The narrator was a good judge of character. He understood that Ranga was just saying that he will leave and he will go. But as he had seen that beautiful girl, he did not want to go actually. He did not make a move. That means he said he is leaving, but he did not move out. How can one expect words to match actions in these days of Kali Yuga? So this is the humor in the story. He says that in this Kali Yuga, people say something and do something, that is, the words do not match the actions. Ratna ran inside, overcome by shyness. After a while, Ranga asked, "Who is that girl, Swami?" Now, Swami is the way to address in South India. You must be knowing every male person, if you meet, you can call them Swami. Who's that inside? Swami is equivalent to sir. Okay. Who's that inside? The lion wanted to know. The he-goat. Now this paragraph is another piece of sense of humor of the author. He says, the lion wanted to know. The he-goat who had taken shelter in the temple replied, "Does it matter who I am? I am the poor animal who has already eaten 9 lions. I have vowed to eat one more. Tell me, are you male or female?" The lion fled the place in fear, it seems. So here is the reference of a story by the author. The author has referred to the story of a lion and a he-goat. So the author through the narrator says that the story of a he goat, when the he goat was was hiding itself inside a shelter, the lion out from outside had asked, who is that? And the he goat had, it was a poor animal. It knew that the lion would eat it up, it would kill him, but from inside, very boldly, it said that it had eaten 9 lions, and the lion fled in fear. The lion ran away from there. Like the he goat, I said, what does it matter to either of us who she is? I am already married and you aren't the marrying kind. So when Ranga asked about the girl, who is that girl, the narrator has given the reply in a very tricky manner. He just wanted to know the excitement level or the interest level of Ranga in that girl. So he didn't directly give any answer to the to Ranga. Instead, he told what does it matter to either of us? That he told Ranga that you aren't marrying any kind of this young girl, you are not interested in young girl, and I am already married, so what is the point in asking about this girl? Very hopefully he asked, she isn't married then? His voice did not betray his excitement. His voice did not betray his excitement means Ranga's voice had clearly expressed his excitement to know about the girl, and this is what the narrator wanted. And therefore he asked, she isn't married? But the narrator wanted to check the level of interest once again, so he told Ranga that she was married a year ago. Why do you want to know about her? His face shriveled like a roasted brinjal. Have you ever seen that? So next time when your mom roasts a brinjal for making bharta, please go and see that how it becomes. It shrinks. Okay? After a while, Ranga left saying, I must go, I have work at home. So when Ranga saw that the narrator was answering in a very clever manner and he was not telling anything about the girl, he finally thought of going home. And he made an excuse that he had some work at home and he wanted to leave. So here again you can see there is a sense of humor, how the narrator is comparing Ranga's face like a roasted brinjal when he came to know that the girl was married. I went to our Shastri the next morning and told him, keep everything. Now this is the next part of the story or the action. What did the narrator do? And keep everything ready to read the stars. I will come later. Now Shastri is the astrologer, so the next part of the narrator's plan was to go to Shastri. So he had already planned. The first phase was the meeting of Ranga and Ratna, not directly but just seeing each other. And then the second part was that he went to the astrologer next morning and he asked him to keep everything ready. That means all his things, all his astrology books, and to keep them ready to read the stars. I'll come later. I tutored him. Now you can see the word tutored comes from the word tuition. Tuition means giving something, informing something, telling about or giving some knowledge about something, and also apprising some person about the things earlier. Okay, teaching in a way. I tutored him. So the narrator went and taught everything. That means taught means here did not teach astrology. Instead, he was giving information about Ranga and Ratna. So he tutored him in all that I wanted him to say. And why did he have to tutor the astrologer? Because he wanted the astrologer to say exactly what he wanted him to say to Ranga. I found no change in Ranga when I met him that afternoon. What is the matter? Now, after that, when the narrator met Ranga, he saw that there was no change. His excitement had lost. He was feeling disappointed. He was feeling very sad. And when he asked him what happened, he said, "Nothing, nothing is wrong. Believe me, headache. Come, let's go and see a doctor." So the narrator said, "Oh, it seems you are having a headache. Let's see a doctor." But Ranga did not have any headache and he was just thinking about Ratna. Therefore, he told the narrator that he has no headache. It is my usual self. I went through the same thing when the process of choosing a girl for me was going on. But I don't think that could be a reason for your present condition. So see how he is mocking at Ranga, and he is just cleverly playing the fool with him, and he wants to know what is the exact reason why Ranga was sad. So he told him that when a girl was being chosen for him, for the narrator, that it was the same condition that he was going through. And he told him that I don't think that could be a reason, but I don't think there is any girl a reason for you for your sadness. Ranga stared at me. "Come, let's go and see Shastri," I suggested. "We will find out whether Guru and Shani are favorable for you or not." Guru and Shani are the planets or the stars or the planets which the astrologers count their movement in a person's astrological movements, or the astrologer was already tutored. Therefore, Shastri was very confident that he will take Ranga to the astrologer. Ranga accompanied me without any protest. As soon as Shastri saw me, he exclaimed, "What a surprise, Shyama! Haven't seen you for a long time. Now see how they are behaving. It is all schematic and planned." But the Shastri says that he had not met Shyama for a long time. Now here the author has given you the introduction to Shyama. Shyama is none other than your servant, the narrator of this tale. So see, again a sense of humor. The author says that Shyama is the narrator who is your servant, who is telling you a story. I got angry and shouted, "What? Only this morning?" And the narrator says, again there is a sense of humor. He says that he perhaps forgot that he had met Shastri earlier, and he says, "What are you saying? We are not meeting after a long time. Only this morning." As soon as he started saying, the sentence was abruptly stopped. Shastri completed my sentence, and Shastri stopped him, that their plan would be revealed to Ranga then. And Shastri stopped him and completed his sentence and said, "You finished all your work and are now free to visit me." Had he not done so, that is, the narrator says that if Shastri had not stopped him, I would have ruined our plan by bursting like grains that are kept in the sun to dry. See now the comparison. In the whole story you can see so many comparisons made by the author, and the author through the narrator says that he would have burst like grains that were kept in the sun to dry. That is, their plan would have been revealed, burst out. I was extremely careful of what I said afterwards. And then he realized that what he is supposed to say in front of Ranga he should be very careful. Shastri turned to Ranga. "When did the young son of our accountant clerk come home?" So now he addressed Ranga. "Oh, Ranga, how do you do? And when did you come back? You son of accountant, when did you come back? What can I do for him? It's very rarely that he visits us." So he was asking in a very secretive manner, and he said, "What can I do for you?" He already knew what he had to do, but he was just pretending that he didn't know what he has supposed to do. "Take out your paraphernalia. Our Rangappa seems to have something on his mind. Can you tell us what's worrying him? Shall we put your science of astrology to the test?" See? Shall we put your science of astrology to the test? The narrator tells Shastri, the astrologer, take out your paraphernalia. Paraphernalia means all the things. In Hindi, what you call it as tamjam. उन्होंने शास्त्री से कहा कि आप पूरा तामझाम निकालो अपना, दैट इज some books or some whatever the astrologer uses. So he told him, you take out all that. In the next paragraph, you will come to know what is the paraphernalia of the astrologer. And he told the astrologer, see, our Rangappa is having some worries on his mind. So please tell us what is the cause of his worry. There was authority in my voice as I spoke to Shastri. He took out 2 sheets of paper, some cowries, and a book of Pamira. So he had sheets of paper, he had cowries. Cowries, dear children, cowries are small shells which we find on the sand when we go when we go to a sea beach. You must have seen earlier those things were used for calculations by the astrologer. They used to count it and keep it and all that. So kaudi, in Hindi it is called as kaudi, in English cowries, and a book of Pamira leaves. Pamira is the leaves of palm tree. They are huge leaves, and those were used by the astrologers. And he said, ours is an ancient science, Ayya. There is a story to it, but I won't tell you that story now. This is not a Hari Katha which allows you to tell a story within a story. Now in Hari Katha or in the story of the Lord Vishnu, you have a story inside the another story, okay? So that's what he said. I am not going to tell you any Hari Katha. You may get bored. I will tell it to you some other time. Shastri moved his lips as fast as he counted on his fingers and then asked, what is your star? Ranga did not know. Never mind. Shastri indicated with a shake of his head. Now in these paragraphs you come to know how Shastri and the narrator are pretending to entrap Ranga in and make him believe that astrologer speaks everything truthfully. Everything that astrologer predicts is true. I had been controlling my laughter all this while, but now burst out laughing. I turned to Ranga, exactly what I had said. Who is the girl? It was your humble servant who asked the question. Humble servant. See how he is calling himself. The narrator is saying that I am your humble servant who asked this question directly, because Ranga was not asking anything. So the narrator asked Shastri, who is the girl? Shastri thought for a while before replying. So dear students, why did he think before replying? Because he had to behave and speak as per the tuition, as per the narrator, what he had taught him. She probably has the name of something found in the ocean. Now the Shastri, the astrologer, could not speak out the name directly because it would be very fake then. ये तो बहुत ही ऐसा लगता कि इनको पहले से पता है. Therefore, what did he do? He just said that he knew the name Ratna. So he said it is something, the name of something that is found in the ocean. Kamla? Maybe. Could it be Pachi? So now they were guessing the name of the girl. When he said it is something that is found in the ocean. So they talked about Kamla, maybe Kamal. So Kamla. And then that was not the right answer. So could it be Pach? Pach is actually green color. It's called moss. Moss in the ocean. It's a algae, or it's green in color. Must it be moss if it is not Kamla? Why not pearl or Ratna, the precious stone? So the narrator suggested, and he said, why not pearl or Ratna, the precious stone? Ratna, the girl in Ramarao's house is Ratna. Tell me, is there any chance of negotiations bearing fruit? Definitely, he said, after thinking for some time. There was surprise on Ranga's face and some happiness. I noticed it. So as soon as they guessed the name Ratna, Ranga's face was glared up, and his face was showing some happiness, which the narrator had noticed. But that girl is married. I said, then I turned to him. His face had fallen. Now again, he wanted to test Ranga. He said, but that girl is married. I don't know all that. There may be some other girl who is suitable. I only told you what our Shastra indicated. So now this is another way to mock the astrologers and the astrology. See, the astrologers cannot predict anything and everything truly for any person. And here the astrologer says, I don't know all that, whether the girl is married or not. See, if he is able to predict the name of the girl, then why not whether she is married or not? But he says, I don't know anything. There may be some other girl who is suitable. I only told you what our Shastra indicated. Shastri said. And Shastra indicated, that is, whatever astrology has told me, that I have told you. We left the place. On the way, we passed by Ramarao's house. Ratna was standing at the door. So, even the astrologer could not completely tell about everything, and therefore they left the place. So now next step is that they went to Ratna's place, especially the narrator. On the way, we passed by Ramarao's house. Ratna was standing at the door. I went in alone and came out a minute later. Surprising, this girl isn't married. See how he's pretending. The narrator quietly went alone to Ramarao's house, and where he just came out after some time, and he informed that the girl isn't married, as though he went inside the house to ask whether the girl was married. He knew everything. He knew that Ratna was not married. So when the narrator told Rangappa that the girl isn't married, he asked the cause of his worries, and he asked Rangappa whether the astrologer had told everything true about what he was worried about. And therefore he asked him to swear by the name of Madhavacharya. Madhavacharya is an exponent. He is a person who has studied Vedantic philosophy, and he was such a great personality in South India. So he said, no, you swear by Madhavacharya that whatever Shastri said was correct about you. And Ranga admitted there is greater truth in that Shastra than we imagine. See how Ranga was impressed by the astrologer, and this line tells you that Ranga was so simple and such a straightforward person that he did not even understand the narrator's plan, and he just took it that he was impressed by the astrologer or the Shastri, that, and he said, oh my, that Shastra is a Shastra, one who reads Shastras is Shastri. Okay, so he says our astrology is such a great science. You see, it can tell everything truthfully, and everything true about any person. And he says this is the greatness of our astrology or Shastra. And Shastri was at the well. Now this is another part of the next step, you can say, what the narrator had taken. So he saw, when the narrator saw that Ranga was impressed and surprised, and when he went away home, the narrator went to meet Shastri, and he found that Shastri was at the well. And there in the evening, when he met Shastri, he addressed him, Shastri Gale, you repeated everything I had taught you without giving rise to any suspicion. That is, you were so clever, and without any suspicion, Ranga had believed you completely, and you had told everything that I had taught you. What a marvelous Shastra yours is. Now here in this line, see how he is mocking the astrologer or the Shastri. And he says, oh, you have got marvelous, wonderful Shastra. Your Shastra is so perfect that you could tell everything true about about Ranga. He did not like it at all. Now, why, students? The author has said that he did not like it at all. He said so because the Shastri would never like it if you, because it was a mocking thing for him, and he understood that the narrator was commenting on him, he was making a fun of him, and therefore he did not like it. So what reply did he give? He said that, what are you saying? I could have found out myself from the Shastras. You are just saying something. I could have also found out from the Shastras. Don't forget, I developed on the hints you had given me. He said, you had just given me hints, but I told everything that was true about Ranga. Tell me, is this what a decent man says? And therefore the narrator is asked by Shastri, and he asks him whether do you think that a decent man should mock at or make fun of Shastras and Shastri like this? Rangappa had come the other day to invite me for dinner. What's the occasion? I asked. Now, this part of the story, the author has said that after Ranga and Ratna's marriage, how Ranga had called him for and invited him, in fact, for his first son's birthday. When his son was 3 years old, he invited the narrator to his house and told him that it was Shyama's birthday. Now, the narrator was surprised because the narrator's name was Shyama, and Ranga had named his son as Shyama. Why did he do that? He did that because he wanted to show his gratitude and respect to the narrator who had been instrumental in getting him married to Ratna. The narrator was surprised, and he asked Ranga why did he keep his name, and he see, again you can see the sense of humor in this paragraph, because he calls himself a dark piece of oil cake, and he says this name is not that nice name, because this is the way he was making fun of himself. And he said that Shyama was not a very nice name. Why did you name your child by that name? And therefore he, in this way, he tells Ranga that he was just a piece of oil cake, that is just making fun of himself, that is of no use. And he, why did you have to give that golden child of yours such a name? And he told Ranga that your child is such a beautiful and good child. Why did you keep that name? What a childish couple you are, Ratna and you. I know, it is the English custom of naming the child after someone you like. See, again in this sentence, the author is mocking at the use of English language and the English custom. Now he says that Ranga seems to have changed in this way also, because his opinion was to just matching with the English custom of naming the child after someone you like. And therefore he says that is why you must have followed that custom. Your wife is 8 months pregnant now. Who is there to help your mother to cook? And by that sentence he changes the conversation, and he asks, who is helping out your wife who is pregnant? My sister has come with her. I went there for dinner. Shyama rushed to me when I walked in and put his arms around my legs. And when the narrator reached Ranga's house, Shyama put his arms around his legs. That is, that small child came and embraced the narrator. I kissed him on his cheek and placed a ring on his tiny little finger. Allow me to take leave of you, reader. I am always here, ready to serve you. You were not bored, I hope. Now, in the last lines, you can see again there is a sense of humor. The narrator tells you an elaborate story of his village and Ranga, and afterwards, towards the end of the story, he asks whether the readers were bored and or not. And in this way, he takes a formal leave from the readers and feels that everybody must have enjoyed this story. Okay, students, now let us take a look about the satire in the story. You can see that the author has mocked the English rulers, and second, the people who use English words in their language, Kannada, the people in the village, Ranga and his views on marriage, and naming his son Shastri and Shastras. So I want you to write the examples of under these headings of mockery or the satire in the story. How he mocked the English rulers. You are going to write the notes on that. And how he mocked the people who used English words in their language, Kannada. You are going to write a note on that. And then the people in the village, how they were mocked at. Then Ranga, the narrator has mocked Ranga also. So that is about his views on marriage and naming his son. And Shastri and Shastras. So please write notes on these points. Okay students, we are going to focus now on the character sketch of the narrator. What kind of a person do you think the narrator is? The narrator Shyama is dark in color. He calls himself a dark piece of oil cake. He is an elderly gentleman. He is a keen observer of men and manners. He notices the influence of English, the language and the way of life on Indian society. He is a purist who is pained at the indiscriminate use of English words in Kannada conversation. He considers it disgraceful. He does not approve of the English custom of love marriage either. He is a well-meaning gentleman who has the good of others in his heart. He learns of Ranga's views about marriage from Ranga himself. He is a good judge of human character. He is a good husband. The narrator is a good strategist. He cleverly calls the narrator was surprised and he asked Ranga why did he keep his name, and he see again you can see the sense of humor in this paragraph, because he calls himself a dark piece of oil cake and he says this name is not that nice name, because this is the way he was making fun of himself. And he said that Shyama was not a very nice name. Why did you name your child by that name? And therefore he in this way he tells Ranga that he was just a piece of oil cake, that is just making fun of himself, that is of no use. And he why did you have to give that golden child of yours such a name? And he told Ranga that your child is such a beautiful and good child. Why did you keep that name? What a childish couple you are, Ratna and you.